So let's look at what the average starter home looks like in the US. And this is from Redfin. So let's kind of look at these nice graphs of what they provided us here. The US average house starter home looks like this. Well, as you look over here, it says it's 3 bedroom, 2 bath, approximately built 1969, 1,250 square feet, a yard of about 6,500, and the average price is about 367. Now that can vary based on different places from one part of the country to the other. In my part of the country where I live, unfortunately, is gotten pretty expensive. So the average starter home in my area is about 500,000, and that's in Central Oregon. It can be more or less, like we talked about. So, and it has to do a lot of sometimes about migration. If you look at this chart of migration, you can see that a lot of people are moving away from some of these states that here are listed in blue and moving to the ones that are yellow and orange. And a lot of it has to do with just overall cost, and we'll go through that too. Next, it also has to do with housing starts. If you look at housing starts over the course of the year, builders are building bigger homes now. They're not building as many small homes. If you get a small home, you're not getting much of a yard at all. In fact, look at these ones here I have pictures of that are going up around us. These homes are going up for, these are going to go up for close to $500,000 each. And look how small they are. They have no yards, no place for people to live. They're basically a place for people to come in, hang up their clothes, go to bed, get up, and go do something else. So that's what these are for. But they're still extremely expensive. Now, if you look at this chart, you can see that roughly there are currently 1,639,000 homes for sale. In the US, that's about a 4-month supply. And you can see, though, as a fact that the number of listings is down 3%. So if you look at this graph here down towards the end on the right hand side, you can see it's come down from about 1.8 to 1.9 million homes just about 2 years ago down to this lower number. So it's shrinking, so it's getting more expensive to buy the house. And once again, what's happening is builders are trying to build bigger homes because basically they can't make the margins on little homes that they used to be able to make because it costs too much. Everything else costs too much. So that's the problem out there when you're trying to find a starter home. Now, the next thing is let's look at where the easiest cities to afford homes at. If you look at this, Kansas City is roughly, you only need to be making on average about $47,000 to be able to afford a home there. Louisville, Kentucky, $50,000. Baltimore, Maryland, $50,000. Oklahoma City, $56,000. So, a person that has a normal living wage job, about $22, $23 an hour, can basically afford some form of house to get into. Now let's go on the opposite, and we'll look at what it is on the other side, unfortunately. If you look at this map here, you can see like in Los Angeles, for example, you need $192,000 to be able to afford a house. And if you go look as far as San Francisco, $239,000 you need. Seattle is 165. Salt Lake City, 109,000. 133,000 in Washington, D.C., 71,000 in Sacramento. So it's much more expensive in those areas, and you've got to be making a lot more money. So, for example, this house that we just looked at, the starter home, is $367,000 at a 6% mortgage rate, which is a little low for right now. But if you were able to get that, and you put down roughly 10%, that'd be a $330,000 loan. $330,000 is going to cost you about $1,780 for the principal and interest. And then you got to average about $300 for taxes. So that's $22,100 roughly. Insurance, another $100, $2,200. And then a lot of times you have mortgage insurance, which could cost you another couple $100. So you're looking at about $2,400 for a house payment there. When it is back at 3%, you're probably looking at about $1,600 or so. So it's quite a bit more expensive now. The next thing I want to show you here is what it looks like in the 50 states. Now, if you look at this chart here, and I have my glasses on so I can see, Atlanta, Georgia here is $339. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath house at 1,170 square feet. And then you go to places like Birmingham, Alabama, it's $166 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. So, and look at the size of the yard, roughly 9,600 square feet, built in 1958, older homes. Austin, Texas, 475. The average house built is 1996. So that's quite good, but it's pretty expensive. And then Cleveland, Ohio, only 109,000. And built in 1935. So it's an old house you get there. So on one end, you get an older house. As long as it's been remodeled, everything is great. But if it hasn't been remodeled, you could spend $20,000, $30,000 spending for that remodel, even more, depending on how bad it is. Now, let's look at some more. We have Orlando, Florida, 289. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 234. And then you get down here to San Francisco, California, $999. So $1 million for your 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,100 square foot house. I remember doing somebody's upgrade house, and it was 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. It was a townhouse, and it was in a nice area in Los Angeles, and it was $1.7 million, and the people were absolutely ecstatic because it was originally listed at $2.1 million. They got it for $1.7. So now I would have never spent that amount if I were here for that type of house, but I guess down there these guys were ecstatic because it was like the deal of a century for them. So they were really excited about that. So this slide here I'm showing you here are the 10 cities that have the best deals according to Redfin for starter homes. Let's look at these. We got Cleveland, Ohio at 109, number 1. Birmingham, Alabama, 166 for number 2. And Buffalo, New York, number 3. And then Oklahoma City is number 9. And Texas, San Antonio, Texas, number 10. So there are some good deals out there. You just have to be out there to look at them. Okay, so let's wrap this thing up. So we've gone over a bunch of different charts and looked at a bunch of information about starter homes. And in my mind right now, it's a pretty good idea to start looking for a house if you don't own one and you're interested about buying one. Go out there, see what it is like. It may make a difference depending on whether or not where you're living at, whether or not you can afford it, and what type of job you have. But it's still a great opportunity to look at these homes out there, get an idea for what it costs, and what your payment's going to be. Because once interest rates do go down, there'll be a lot of people out there also shopping, and it'll probably drive the prices up. So make your best guess. And even though I don't do loans in all 50 states, if you do have a question, feel free to send me a comment. I'll be happy to answer that question for you, or at least try to find somebody that could answer that question. Thank you again for watching. I appreciate it very much. And please like and hit that subscribe button, as it makes a big difference to my channel. And I'd like to know the things that you are interested in. So also leave me some comments. With that, I'm going to say thank you so much. Have a great day, and we'll see you again. Bye now.